1, 2, 3. Greetings and salutations.
The universe is just doomed.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Hey, it's 2023.
And we're going to try something new.
We got something new for your ass.
New year, new us.
New phone, who this?
So we are going to get into the X-Files.
Did you wet your whistle?
Nope. I tried to do it CSM style with them dry lips.
Those crusty dry.
You're almost going to need... Oh, we got Liana here before I get too far into it. And
Yes.
did we decide, is Liana... Deep Throat's dead, so can she be Deep Throat still, or...
You could be whoever you want. This
Who
is
you
the
gonna be?
X-Files, baby. Shit's wild. People die,
She's our
they come
informant,
back.
whoever the current informant is.
Deep Throat.
We don't have Nancy Reagan here tonight.
That's her. That's where it came from.
Already choking like Nancy. Damn. Actually, no, Nancy didn't choke. That's the whole thing.
That's the thing. But, you know, new show, same old us.
But the one thing that hasn't changed is the Doom Biz.
We don't even have any kind of new Doom Biz for you, do we? Just the same old thing.
You know, Patreon, $4 for tiny little doll hairs
It's
every
the
month.
tiniest of doll hairs.
You get the swag. You get the bonus audio. Go to patreon.com/Doom Generation. Call us, 702-720-DOOM. Leave us a message.
Keep in touch.
You can text us. We've got a text. Our very first text message coming later tonight after the show.
A very special one indeed.
From the ghost of a dead celebrity.
Stay tuned to find out who.
Ooh, very spooky.
Yes,
I didn't even think about
spooky
that.
Mulder.
It fits. Oh my God. So this is not a ranked episode.
Nope. We're gonna just
This
dive
is not
right
a
in.
favorites episode.
Not really.
Or best.
Nope.
This is the ones that burn themselves
Right.
into our
There's
brains.
a lot of that, and also we do need to remember that we had recorded our entire year.
Yes.
And we had a bunch of time in our hands. So for the last couple weeks,
We have been doing nothing but watching
we
the
have
X-Files.
been watching endless X-Files, and still not once have I skipped the theme.
Nope,
Nope.
me neither.
Not with every single one that I watched. Did not skip the theme. Not
Got to
once.
whistle along every time.
Every time.
And yeah,
Every time.
I've been skipping. So I started with watching the ones I knew. The ones I knew I wanted to put on my list.
Right.
But then you get into the you remember and you fuck,
Oh,
I
yeah,
gotta,
like things
well now
came
I gotta
up.
watch this one.
Right, because I just would let it play. Like the ones that I wasn't going to watch and kind of take a couple notes on, I just kind of let it play out. And I was like,
That's
that
right,
one and
that's
that
right,
one.
yeah.
So,
And then we watched some YouTube videos of other things and we're like, like some of them were like, yeah, we agree,
Right.
and some were like, I don't even remember that still, even after
Right.
2 weeks worth of.
Right.
I mean, because obviously we have not covered every
No,
episode.
we have not managed
I mean,
to
this
watch
is
that
back
many.
in the 22 episode a season, 22 to 24 episode
Right.
seasons. So
that's
no,
when they
in
could
2
do
weeks-
this to you.
Yeah, in 2 weeks we did not get through them. So
Not
this
all
is
of
going to
them.
be a couple of things. This is going to be our most memorable episodes.
Yep.
But we're also going to get into the Did They Have Sex Files?
This is the Did They Have Said? This is the ultimate X-File,
Which is, did Mulder and Scully ever bone?
which I say they did.
Which it seems clear that the answer is yes. I mean, clearly. Look at them.
Well, but the question is
Look at
when.
their relationship. But when is the question? And yeah, and is anything ever confirmed on screen? So we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll
get
get
there.
into that.
So we're going to start with the pilot just because, I mean, to get off with the story, it's like
the pilot.
it's got everything in episode 1.
Yeah, because
We've
they
got-
had to give you everything that they were going to do in the pilot because they have to sell the show.
And they hook you with that based on an allegedly true story.
Yes. Well, first we have to say this was September 10th, 1993. Is that when the
1993. So
pilot
I would have
aired?
been just about to be 14.
And I was just about to be 12. So like prime X-Files times.
And this was sit on the couch with your parents and watch TV. I mean, everybody watched the X-Files.
The X-Files was for everybody.
It was appointment television.
Yes.
And
well, because if you missed it, that was it.
Right. Who knows when you got to see the reruns? It
You
took
couldn't
several
go watch.
seasons
No,
before they would
didn't.
start doing reruns.
You couldn't put it on the DVR on the schedule.
And we discussed that this was like the last one you watched before bedtime when you went to your room and just watched Nick at Night.
Yes.
This was the last one you watched in the living room with your family that night, and then it was bedtime.
And then it kept you up at night sometimes.
Sometimes. Some of these ones we're going to talk about
are
the ones that kept you up at night that might still
do. But anyhow, so we have the pilot.
Which sets everything up. We've got the little flirtation between the two
Scully
of them.
Is so young.
So young.
So young.
And we see that Cancer Man
from the very beginning
is there from episode 1.
Episode 1, like scene 1.
He is who set Scully up to debunk
her.
the X-Files.
Right. He wanted to put her with Mulder because of her skeptical nature.
And we'll get a little bit into the conspiracy and stuff along the way. We're trying not to focus too much on the overarching story, but obviously it's important.
Right. So first they ask her what she knows about Mulder. And she talks about how they call him
Mulder.
Spooky Mulder. And then she gets kind of like, he was Oxford.
So yeah, she already kind of had a little,
she kind of knows who he is. Because what did he do? Like violent crimes or something? And he helped catch a serial killer?
Something like that. He had made a name for himself before discovering the X-Files and getting himself reassigned.
Right. So she goes down there, and before she could even put down her purse, he's like being all charming and boyish. He's so cute.
He's so cute in this.
David Duchovny, why won't you love me? That's why they made that whole song about it, because of how cute.
Well, and because he loved every other woman, why can't you love me?
Why can't I know? He loved everyone else.
Yes.
Why not me?
He dated every other woman.
Apparently Winona Ryder too.
Yeah. So we see Cigarette Smoking Man, which we could not figure out why nobody questions this man. From the
'cause it's the
Pentagon. He
FBI?
doesn't work for the FBI.
Does he even have a badge?
No. He
Like,
just
he just
has
sits
a
back there
fucking
and
pack of
smokes?
cigarettes. That's his ID.
Pack of Morleys.
His pack of Morleys is his ID. And so now, should we just rip the Band-Aid off of his real name right off the top?
I hate that he has a name.
Do you guys know that Cancer Man has a name?
I'm sure people know he has a name. I'm sure that at some point I knew he had a name.
Carl Gerhard Bush Spender.
Bush. Gerhard Bush.
And so, So
that's why he
you don't
appeared as a
know-
Nazi a couple of times.
Right? That name.
Gerhard.
So you don't know anything about him.
No.
In this pilot, just he's some fucking spectral. He could be a ghost.
Right, like because
Just
nobody even
haunting this
interacts with him. Well,
AD's
no, because
office.
he asks her questions, right?
I think so.
And like she looks at him like,
Who the fuck are you?
Well, no, like because she's getting all giggly about Spooky Mulder, and he's like, "Don't you like? Have you heard about the X-Files?" She's like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot that we weren't like
We were
in a
just,
locker room right now
locker
talking
room
about how
talking
cute
about his
fucking
booty, about them
Spooky
red
Mulder
Speedos.
is." Oh my god, the red Speedo,
Man,
Man.
Mulder's a himbo.
man. There was that whole thing that they did in The Simpsons too. Remember when Mulder and Scully were on The Simpsons, and
That's
on his
right.
FBI badge was him laid out in a Speedo?
Oh my god, I forgot.
Was it a
about
red
that.
Speedo
It
in
might
the
have
thing?
been.
The
Liana.
ultimate X-File.
Fox Mulder, Red Speedo, X-Files, Simpsons, whatever you gotta
X-Files,
Google.
Red Speedo, whatever you gotta do.
But this was like the pilot episode of this for me, especially at that age, and still, it was like almost chef's kiss, like a perfect episode of television.
It had everything.
It had comedy. It had action. It had a little
Intrigue.
bit of romance, intrigue, paranormal. It had all the things, and based on a true story,
Right? I mean, like the whole assignment kind of plays out like a first date.
right?
Like they kind of get into this whole, I don't know, like this immediate relationship that they have. Because when she goes in there, she likes him immediately.
oh yeah,
like,
and there's
'cause-
that whole when they have that hug
Yes.
because she asked him to check her
Oh
back
my
for
God,
those marks.
she shows up in that matching bra and panties set. She was like, come and check out this waistline. I'm tiny under here. I'm taut.
And then she's like, "Oh my God, is it a thing?" And he's like,
like,
"No,
"It's mosquito bites."
And then she hugs him like,
right?
"Oh, yeah."
Like you guys
so right
just
off the
met.
bat,
You're in the FBI.
they fucked
Like,
right then.
That's what I'm saying.
They fucked that
Like,
first night.
I would definitely believe that, but I'm saying it happened somewhere in season 2.
Okay. All right.
But I would buy this too. I mean, and only because not a one person is acting like a professional.
Oh, this whole show.
Yes.
The people who you hate, who were the assholes, were probably because they were doing their job
Right.
correctly.
Right. Well, the
You're
only
like,
one.
oh, you bureaucrat.
Also, the only one that took anything seriously, like Skin Dog, always took the shit seriously.
The Skin Man. So we should almost give you guys a glossary of terms.
Oh yes,
Because we will be referring to AD Skinner,
Walter
Assistant
Skinner.
Director Walter Skinner, as both Skin Man and Skin Dog.
Yep.
And
Skin them
Daddy.
skins and Daddy.
Daddy.
So this is also another thing that's happened since the 90s. So I grew up a little bit, and then I was watching the X-Files, and I was like, Assistant Director Skinner.
Ooh, look at you.
Oh.
Taking control. Don't
So-
take no shit from nobody.
Always sitting over there kind of sneering a little bit,
But
looking
then
like
sensitive in all the right moments.
he works out boxing. Oh, always having an excuse to take his shirt off, like, yes, Daddy. Can I borrow the keys, Daddy?
Giving
Thanks,
you them
Daddy.
Craig T. Nelson poltergeist
Oh my
vibes.
God. So yes, somewhere in the interceding years.
Because
Mitch
as a
Pileggi.
teenager, I was
No.
never watching X-Files going, damn, Skinner
Damn,
could
Skinner.
get it.
Nope, but
No.
now
But now.
he can get it.
So-
Get it. Mitch Pileggi.
We are going to get into our most memorable episodes, starting with Tessa's.
Season 1, episode 3, which is, Squeeze. Season 1, episode 3, Squeeze. That was the first appearance of Toombs,
A.K.A. Doug Hutchinson,
who is a real
A.K.A.
life
Slime
creep.
Ball.
Oh man, he's a real life creep, and I didn't know then. Of course, like he would have dated
that
me
hadn't
back
happened
then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. he
I'm way
totally
too
would've.
old now.
When you were fucking 13, sure.
Yeah, 12. He was
Because
into
yes,
it.
the guy who was Toombs married a
Groomed and married a-
18-year-old.
No,
not even 17.
16.
Oh, 16. Jesus Christ. It's worse than I
16.
remember.
Yeah, it was worse than
It's
I
worse
remember.
than I remembered.
Yes. So that was that. But this is also the reason why I cannot like Drains, like it, of course, Pennywise, of course,
Yes.
but also Eugene Toombs.
All lathered up in
Drains.
bile.
Coming out your toilet.
And hey guys, guess what? He comes back every
That's right.
30 years. And
So
guess what year he comes back? 2023.
So check your vents because he might
Close
be coming
them
out of his
vents.
bile bag right now.
Shut them flues to your chimney.
Oh God, he's coming for your livers.
He's coming for your liver. Throw away them old newspaper stacks
Oh,
because he'd be
fuck,
building
he's
a
gonna
bile
make a bile
mess.
mache.
Oh, bile mache. And that was the only. I feel like when I rewatched, the only miss for me was that they did the nest, but didn't show him emerge from the nest.
Yeah, like
that
they
would have
did-
been the ultimate.
They did the thing. Was it in the first or the second
Where he touched
one?
the thing.
Oh no!
when he got the
touched
slime
thing,
and he's
no,
all-
but I'm saying when he came down the chimney.
That was
like
the
a
first
fucked
one.
Up Santa Claus.
That was the first one.
Is that the one where he came after Scully? Right.
I think so. Yeah.
And he ended up in her bathroom. And then the
Yes.
second one he came after Mulder. Was
right.
it? Oh, but
Because
either-
Mulder showed up at his parole hearing and tried to get him
But
not to
then
get
he
paroled.
fucking blows it. Because this is, I'm just gonna count.
He's 100-year-old man who
Squeeze
and they're like,
and
bro,
Toombs
get
are
outta
like
here.
interchangeable to me because he comes back like several episodes later in
Same
like the
season.
same season.
Yeah.
But yeah, he shows up at the parole hearing. Talk about he's 100-year-old, hundreds of year old monster that's like hibernates in a bile bag and he needs to get out so he can eat some liver. So you guys shouldn't let him out.
And
they're
the
like,
parole board's like,
parole
dude,
him.
You have a problem. You maybe
Yeah.
should be in here. We're letting him
yeah,
out.
this guy's totally normal. He only licks the roadkill a little bit.
Ugh.
Oh fuck! When he does with his, with the head, it's so gross with the orange eyes.
Yes.
Oh,
Coming
and the
at you with
toilet. Oh fuck!
So yeah, somebody
that
had
toilet,
posted
dude, oh god.
the elf on the shelf. They hid in the vents, and I was like, motherfucking
No.
Toombs elf.
I have a vent in my house. It's like the big vent in the ceiling. Oh, but it's like way big enough. Like Toombs could totally fit through.
Remember
there.
that old duplex when it had the floor heating
Yes.
vent? And the skunk got in there?
Oh,
Did you notice when the skunk got in
Yes,
there
I
and the
think
whole
so.
house
Oh,
smelled
and
like
it did-
hot skunk?
hot skunk ass.
Oh, imagine if Toombs was in there and we turned the heat on. Hot bile.
I'm going to make some bile right here on
We
the
just started.
tabletop.
You can't yet because up next we have one of mine. I think, no, wait, you have another season 1? Or it was just the second Tombs?
It was just the second Tombs, I think, in season 1
So
was the only other one.
I think our shared one is next, which is season 2, episode 2, The Host.
Fuck, this is another toilet one.
Fluke Man.
Fluke Man. Oh, God. And this one is just, this one held up.
Oh, yeah.
This one 100% held up.
It never even speaks. It doesn't have a personality. It's just a fucking...
It is the result of jerking off and it getting into the waterways and becoming a monster.
Are you trying to say it's Mulder's child?
It could be.
Because we all know Mulder does his fair share of jerking off.
I think he might do more than his fair share.
Yeah.
Of jerking off.
But yeah, so this is the episode where, oh my God. It's the, you guys know, the white thing with the fucking butthole mouth.
I can't use the toilet in the dark because I'm going to get like...
Well, and then I don't know how it got the nickname the Fluke Man when one of its whole things is that it doesn't have a gender. It can like swap its gender, right?
No, because remember he cuts it in half in the end and he was like, but wait, they can regenerate. And the guy like goes, and he like up a fucking
it's
worm.
still there. And that's another one of these. So that's another thing we'll get to. All of the loose ends in the X-Files, which I don't remember. Like, I don't remember feeling like, what the fuck at the end of every episode. But now on a rewatch, I'm like, well, but so there's still a fucking fluke thing.
Yep. They cut it in half.
It regenerated. You see the face at the end. And like,
this mouth.
We go, what, 10 seasons of X-Files and the fucking Fluke Man never comes back?
He should have come back.
Yes.
Tombs is due. The Fluke Man is due.
When they took it out of that when the pipe.
Oh, when he was in the pipe and they took the little window thing and he's like.
And that they took it out of the water and like tried to put it in jail.
Yeah.
Like,
what were you going to do with it? It's
like,
a Fluke Man.
It doesn't even talk. It doesn't have any.
No, he just got those
It just
eyes.
wants to reproduce.
He's got like 4 teeth.
That thing's
gross.
Guys. If you forgot that, I don't.
There was
you
something
blocked it out on purpose.
There was some. Hope we made you remember that.
Right.
Have a nice night. I kind of thought later on that it was one of those Scooby-Doo situations where like they showed up and like, Scully was like, no, it's really like a scientific explanation. And then it turned out, and sometimes it was like it was like a
well,
thing
the
that
Tombs,
was like kinda,
she had some scientific explanation for why he could age or not age and live so long was because of the hibernating and
but I mean, why the fuck would he?
But why does that happen? And that's the thing about
and how
these
could
episodes.
He stretch?
Right.
Oh,
I mean, they're like they give explanations, but they use a bunch of sciencey words and say them for like 20 seconds and then just move on. And you just when you were 13, you were like, yeah,
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like primed for this shit.
Yeah,
because back then the Monster of the Week thing was my jam. Because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to be freaked the fuck out and not be able to use the toilet in the dark.
You know what Tessa's into?
Not using the toilet in the dark.
Not using the toilet in the dark.
That's for sure. I'm like
that's
well lit.
Not using the toilet in the dark.
Kink, I find it so sexy
to not
have
use
the lights on.
In the dark, yes.
Hey, spiders, snakes. You know, rats can come up out of the toilet. Not like I live in squalor. I'm just saying. It's a thing that can happen, and I think about these things at all times. I'm like 2 moments away from sleeping with pantyhose on my head.
To make sure nothing crawls in your orifices?
Yes. That's exactly why. I'm almost Howard Hughes. I don't have any jars of piss.
No. Your nails aren't that long either.
That's true.
I think you're still several steps away from Howard Hughes.
Well, that's good.
And I think most people are afraid to use the toilet in the dark. I feel like that's kind of common.
Well, because of the Fluke
for lots of reasons. If you ever watch the X-Files, yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
But if you've never seen the X-Files, all the other reasons you mentioned.
I guess so.
So, I think we also share the next one, right? Season 2, episode 20.
Which is
Humbug.
Oh, yes.
You guys,
that one's like my favorite one.
I don't know why. So we did a whole conversation before we even started watching, right? Where we tried just off the top of our head to name like, what are the ones that just stick out to you? And hers was the Freak Show.
Yeah, the Freak Show one.
And I was like, why is this not ringing a bell? And then as soon as I started watching this, I'm like, how do I forget the fucking basket case episode?
Yes.
Of course I know this episode.
Basket case episode with the actual Jim Rose sideshow circus.
Right.
With the Enigma. Which, what did they call him in this?
Oh, man, I have notes. What the hell is his name?
He was, it was another word that sounded like enigma. But that was his name.
And I have too many notes on this one. And so I'm like, fuck, I don't remember.
And who else was he? I don't think that he was featured in the episode, but Mr. Lifto also traveled with the Jim Rose.
Okay.
The guy that would lift things with his dick.
Yes. They were like, we can't.
Yeah, we can't. We really don't have a place for him. But yeah, this is the one with the Fiji mermaid and Vincent Schiavelli, who is like the
Is that the one with the one with the parasitic twin?
The one with the basket case brother.
Yes.
And he's so sad.
Yes.
It's so sad.
It
My
is a
own
sad one.
brother. I don't think he knows he's killing him. He just wants another brother.
That one was it had so much.
I know.
I
mean, the thing crawling under the trailer.
And because the difference, it was more horrifying in a way than Basket Case, because in Basket Case, he's permanently severed. He's in his basket. This bro
one,
fucking attaches and detaches from his brother.
Yeah. And goes crawling around. But that's not what killed him. It was a broken heart.
Oh, it is so sad.
But yeah, that was the whole story about a Fiji mermaid. I want a Fiji mermaid.
Yes.
I want a Fiji mermaid.
You guys, I don't care if it's real.
I know it's not real, but I want a monkey sewn to a fish.
Somebody mail us
To me.
a taxidermied Fiji mermaid.
Oh, I would love you forever. It is my dream.
That is the ultimate.
It is the ultimate. And what is it? Some of them was like, I don't know.
And the sheriff, you find out that the sheriff was the dog face boy.
Yes. And he shaves just a whole big bunch. Mm-hmm.
Or no, didn't he start to go bald or something?
Oh,
he said?
that's right.
Yeah.
He was like, I was balding, so I
like
had to end his
he
career.
protects the town of these sideshow
that's
performers
based on
because he was a sideshow performer.
A real place in Florida where it was like a town where it was inhabited by a lot of traveling sideshow performers. And it was like where the monkey gal was married to the lizard man, like in real life, and the world's tallest man was married to the world's shortest woman.
Conundrum.
That's what it was. He was the conundrum.
I just am scrolling through and I'm like, oh, conundrum. That's it.
And he doesn't speak until the very end, talking about maybe it was something I ate.
Because he ate the brother, right? Didn't he crawl inside of him?
Yeah, he
the basket case crawled in him, right? That was like how it ended.
And
then all of a sudden he can talk, which to me I'm like, so did they melt? Like, is he got the brains of the parasitic twin now?
I don't know.
Interesting.
We'll never know. You have
but
to
yeah,
follow
so yet
the
another
circus.
one where you're just like,
it just ends and self-made freaks are the future.
Yep.
Oh, it says right here. Oh, that's right. The enigma is called the conundrum. Okay.
We always get there.
I know. I get there eventually.
Except for when we don't.
Yeah, well.
Which happens just as frequently.
That's also very true. So did you have anything else in season 2?
Yeah. The Anasazi arc.
Oh, that's right. So
I have too many notes. So let's just quickly go through. So Anasazi was like the season 2 finale that spun over to all the way to season 3, episode 1, episode 2.
It was the last.
It was a 3
episodes, was it? Or no, it was the last.
I think it was the 3. So it was the finale, and then the premiere, and then the one after the premiere. We're all connected.
2-part.
So this is
that's what I'm saying. This was back in the day when you could do that shit.
Yeah.
When you could end it on a cliffhanger, and
make
all you
people
had to
wait
do
months.
was wait the summer.
Yeah,
and then it was on again.
Yeah. So this is the one where there's like the reservation, and they find a storage container buried under the ground.
That's right.
That's full of like dead aliens.
Right. Dead
like
graves,
all piled up in the corner.
Up and whatever. Yeah.
And it becomes this whole thing because Mulder gets in the thing and then Cancer Man finds out he's there and he blows up the shipping container with him in it.
Burn it.
And then they find him, the natives find him buried, like he buried himself under a rock with some other dead. And they never go into the dead alien fetuses. It's just they save Mulder.
They see them.
They see him.
They're like, oh shit. And they just kind of take him out of there.
And they do this whole ceremony over like days and days where all like we're Deep Throat and his father and all these people come to him in his visions. Yes. And he comes back, and then it's like everybody thought you were dead.
Yeah,
blah, blah.
like crazy.
And that's like, it's not the beginning of the alien thing, because the beginning of the alien thing was episode 1.
Yeah, the pilot, it started it there. Yeah.
but so this is where we realized rewatching it as adults that the end caps of every season were aliens.
Right.
And almost everything in the middle was Monster of the Week.
Tied together too. Like there's like that overarching story that are like the pilot, the season 1 finale, the first 2 of the season 2, and then the season 2 finale and the beginning of season 3. It's like the same situation. So that goes on, and then they just go back to work in the middle. Like a bunch of weird, wild shit happens.
And like they find out aliens are real, and they find out the government conspiracies are real.
Yeah,
and
like they gassed
back to
them
work.
in that thing. Like they were all running around.
And they still, and see, now this is what happens when you don't watch every episode.
Right.
I don't think they still know who Cigarette Smoking Man works for. Like, we see that he goes home to the Pentagon at the end of every episode that he's fucking around in. But I don't know that Mulder and Scully know why he's after them or what his deal is or...
No, I think that's what the whole thing that Mulder's trying to get at, that like he knows he has something to do with the truth.
Because when does the syndicate come in? Because he's part of the syndicate, but the rest of the syndicate doesn't come in for a bit.
Well, I feel like you meet them in that one, the musings of a cigarette smoking man.
And that was how late?
That one wasn't until season 4.
Okay, so yeah. I don't know if you see the rest of the team. Like, you just get to see him.
I don't think they even called them that in that one.
I called them, until I found it when we were looking through the Wikipedia thing, I was calling them the Future Boys.
Right, like who was who.
I couldn't remember. They were the Illuminati, the Future Boys. I don't know.
Future Boys. Like, they show up and they've got a bunch of wacky information.
Yeah, they know all about the aliens. They've dealt with the aliens, talked to the aliens, whatever.
Well, that, and they work with Cigarette Smoking Man, who also knows Deep Throat, or do we know that at this point?
He's part of the syndicate too.
Yeah,
Deep Throat was
like
part of the syndicate.
They're all in it together, man.
And the end of this trio was the Paperclip, which wasn't Operation Paperclip a real?
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
I feel
right?
like it was. Yeah,
and that's the thing that kept you on the X-Files too, was that there was enough. It was like an Anne Rice book.
Yeah,
there was
like
enough real history
fiction
sewn into the historical fiction where you were like, oh, but that could be real.
Right?
Like, maybe they found something out.
Right, yeah.
I've heard about that.
Or that's how they're like feeding us the information.
Because they do that in an episode, right? Where they say that the government's been feeding you this information with these movies and these shows and these books and whatever. They've been trying to prepare you.
Yeah.
And so before we do break, do you want to do DPO?
Well,
3,
I was going to tell you,
before?
what did Operation Paperclip do?
Oh, okay.
That in the fall of 1944, the United States and its allies launched a secret mission code called Operation Paperclip. The aim was to find and preserve German weapons, including biological and chemical agents, but American scientific intelligence officers quickly realized the weapons themselves were not enough. So this is like...
So the syndicate comes about in 1947.
Okay.
As an alliance with these ancient aliens they found to make human hybrids.
That's probably
So because I guess they found these German biological warfare things. So, but they never talk about that the Nazis had any connection with ancient aliens, but for whatever reason. It's always aliens, you guys. It's
right, but that was part of the thing too, was that that vaccine and the that black oil and all of that stuff was all alien.
Yes. And so it was all because they wanted to make hybrids with us, which at first our government was down with because they thought it just made stronger humans. But then they found out, oh, no, they want to replace all of humanity and take over. They wanted to make
the super soldiers or whatever.
And so like the syndicate, the reason that was always so confusing for me is because they were both working with and against the aliens simultaneously.
Right.
Because they were wheeling and dealing to try to get their technology, but also trying to do this subterfuge with the FBI and the whoever to try to like undermine the power they were giving the aliens to get this information. Exactly. And so I was always like, who the fuck's side? I don't get it, because Krychek is helping and Krychek is hurting and CSM is helping. And
fucking Krychek. Oh my God! Well, before
we're not even to Krychek.
No, we're not even to that. We're still doing
Monsters
of the Week. I mean, we could do DPO. I have like 2 more.
I only have DPO wasn't on my list. I mean, it is the most memorable because DPO was season 3, episode 3, and that's the Giovanni Ribisi Jack Black episode.
Yes,
our original incel.
Oh my! And I could not think of where I would have seen him before. So that would mean
Because what year was
this was in 95.
what
this
year was
episode.
Mod Squad? Because Mod Squad is the first thing I remember, but I would have seen him on here first if that came out before. Mod Squad might have been late 90s.
I believe Mod Squad might have been 99 but right before, because I feel like that was out when I worked at the movie theater, which would have been the late 90s.
Right. So then maybe this was the first thing we saw.
Because if that's true, because I can't think of anything earlier, that this is where I developed the
99
crush.
was Mod Squad? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
this is
way
where
before.
I developed the crush on Giovanni
When he was
Ribisi.
such
Yes!
a fucking incel.
Yes! Yes! With his big sad eyes and his purty little mouth.
Oh. But yeah, this one was, so this is the one where it kind of explains how he got this power. Was just like he got shocked and then
He got struck by lightning like everybody else. Like a bunch of people, they make lightning there. That was what the asshole sheriff, that guy that
was like, it just happens
yeah,
here.
he's like, we
it's-
make it here.
it's-
Like they
we're
do it
prone
down-
to lightning.
We're prone to it because there's like some shit out there, and like 5 people have been struck by lightning. Only 4 of them are dead, and then 1 of them is still alive, and that's Giovanni. That's Darren Owen P. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. That's what DPO stands
That's what-
for,
yeah,
because
'cause
he's playing Street Fighter.
That's the game, or it's not Street
Or
Fighter. I don't know what
it
it
was-
is, but it's some sort of
He
fighting
was playing
game.
some fighting game on the arcade, and he was putting his
goes-
initials.
He goes up there. That's what he wants to do. Is he wants to play the game, and the one kid's like, "Nah, fuck off," and like Jack Black is like, "I wouldn't do that, man."
But
I
like
wouldn't
to
do
kill
that."
a guy because you had to wait 5 extra minutes to get on your fighting game,
Here is something that you can't understand. It's how I could just kill a man.
right?
Because Filter was playing.
You should have known.
You
Nice
shoulda
shots on.
known-
You better run, bitch.
You better go.
I listened to that today, probably because of this.
I'm serious. Because then it makes me think of Demon Knight.
Yes, bitch. And we'll get there. We'll get there. We're gonna do Demon Night. Don't you worry your pretty bald head about it, A.D. Skinner, Billy Zane. We love us a bald head. We will get there.
I want to buff it. I want assistant director Walter Skinner to wear me like a hat.
Oh, let me keep you all dome warm, A.D. Skinner.
I'm just kidding. That's not fair.
But yeah, so DPO was that one, and it does he die in the end? No. He's
No,
in
they
like an
said-
institution.
Yes, and then they were playing like that. What was it, like a Vandal song or something about diarrhea?
Because he's wearing the van.
And
yes,
he's like
live
flipping
fast
through the-
diarrhea.
he's
Yes,
like,
live fast diarrhea.
He's like flipping the channels with his mind, and I like how it ends where it's like his reflection on the screen where it says the Chris Carter part.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And I would have already known Jack Black from Airborne.
Oh yeah,
Before
and he was
that.
a little cutie pie in this
He
one
was
too.
so cute.
Them eyebrows.
I know.
Gotta love
and
them
I'm
Jack
willing
Black
to bet
eyebrows.
that his death pose, he had something to do with that.
Right,
He
he
like
picked
probably
that.
was like, I'm doing this.
I'm doing this wacky shit. Yeah, he kills his only friend.
I know.
And like all because he's in love with his high school teacher,
Miss Cavate.
Miss
Miss
Cavate.
Cavate. Miss Cavate.
Terrible.
I know.
And if you guys hear partying in the background, my neighbors are throwing a party, and I can
They're
hear it
having
through
a
my
party,
headphones. So sorry about that.
They're celebrating our X-Files episode.
Yeah, they're like so excited about X-Files.
Seriously, it's so good.
Before we get into the next portion, it is time to take a quick break.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back. All right, one thing you guys may not know about Doom Generation Podcast is we are some cheapskates.
Dude, we do not like to spend the coin at all.
So when we were about to do this podcast, we did some major searching into what is the cheapest way
We did more research into how to do this than
that
we
we
do
do for
into
the
our
podcast.
podcast.
And let me tell you what, this Anchor is like the only free platform that distributes your podcast for you to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole bunch of other places.
You can do all kinds of stuff when you're doing it too. You can record your sound effects, you can manage your episodes, and you can track your little analytics.
Yep, you can see where everybody's listening from, how often they're listening.
From your phone, from
Yep.
your computer.
You
Like
can
we
record from
probably
your
still
phone.
would not have had any episodes out.
If it were not for Anchor, this
if it were not for
podcast
Anchor,
would
we
not be in your
we
ear
would
holes
still-
right now.
No, it would not. We would still be just recording it for ourselves.
Yep, listening back to ourselves in the
Laughing at our
garage.
own jokes.
So if you would like to have a podcast, but you don't know if you want to spend any money, you need to go get this Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started now.
And we now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
And we are back.
We're back again.
We are going to go with one of Tessa's next.
This is one that I had forgotten about until it played, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is a good one. It's season 3, episode 13. And it's got little Ryan Reynolds in it.
Little Ryan
Reynolds.
He pops up here and there.
Yeah, he do. And you know who else is in this episode? The original Lori from that 70s show.
Original Lori.
But this is the one, right? This is the one where it's like they think there's a cult, like a satanic cult. And it turns out that the girls are like psychic and they do that. Hate him, wouldn't want to date him. And they like kill the boys.
Ooh.
Like they squish one and like the fucking, like he bumps into the table that they're sitting at.
And they kill him?
And like knock over water. And they kill him. Like they make the bleachers pop, 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 pop. And he gets squished.
I do sort of remember this with the original Lori.
But the thing about this one that was even weirder was that throughout the whole thing, Mulder and Scully are like, Scully's just sniping at him. They're like arguing the whole time. This is the one that had that line like, I know how much you like to hear the latex snap. Because like he goes to, like, they go to look at a body and like he goes to look and then she goes to look. He's like, oh no, go ahead. I know how much you like to hear the latex snap. And like, she's just like, it's this weird, like they end up just driving away. It's fucking bonkers.
I did not watch that one on my rewatch. I'm going to have to check that out.
They have like a party. The teenagers have a party where they're literally doing like someone's in another room doing Bloody Mary. They're playing with Ouija boards. Like someone's probably playing light as a feather, stiff as a board somewhere. I guarantee it. Like, I don't know. It was just like this weirdest thing. But the weirdest thing about it was Mulder and Scully fighting at each other. Like it's weird. Scully's smoking.
Smoking?
Yes.
And it didn't ever say why they were fighting?
No, it didn't ever say why they were fighting.
So it must have been from the episode before?
No, because the episode...
Oh, you watched the one right before
that?
that?
I was like, why are they fighting? Like, there's no reason for them. Like, they literally get in the car and, like, drive away real fast.
Do you think this is after they had fucked and stopped fucking?
Well, this is the one where she catches the gal, like him in the room with the
on
gal.
him?
In flagrante.
Oh, that's why she's mad then.
Maybe. But this was during that. Like, she was already sniping at him before this. She's like, there's another body. There's been another death. Ugh, I'll be in the car.
He was giving it to her and then he cut it off.
In real life, she wasn't liking any of this. But yeah, she's smoking. Like everybody is behaving like divorcees. Like they're all acting like they're just recently divorced. Everybody.
Is it because they're around teenagers? They're like everyone acting like a teenager?
I don't know. Like the emotions are so high that it's like fucking everybody up. There was something with the moon too. Like the moon was really full. That's why she drove away real fast. Like she's just like, we got to get out of here. And then that was another one that I don't think they solved anything.
That seems to happen a lot.
Yeah.
As long as Mulder thinks he knows the truth,
right,
it's over. Case closed.
Yeah, case closed.
Nobody
He's
arrested.
Like, it's good enough for him.
Nobody stopped the murders. Nope.
Good enough
but
for
he
him.
knew who did it. So done.
So yeah. So I think the next one that's on probably everybody's list.
You guys, if you didn't see this when it aired and you haven't done a rewatch since X-Files has been streaming,
you didn't see it.
You didn't see Home. The Peacock family.
You know what? I knew a dude. His last name was Peacock, and he was weird.
Oh, was he incest weird?
I don't know what he did on his off time.
So this one, it starts right off the bat with these
like
three deformed men burying a little live screaming baby.
Yes, they are
in
out
a muddy
there.
hole in the rain.
There, you see that it's a baby. Like
yes, it's clearly a baby with some sort of defect. Like they don't show the face, but you can sort of.
It's making like squawky noises. It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like there's a
and one of these deformed men is like sobbing. Yes. And this is Home, Pennsylvania, and there are so many references to the word home in this episode.
They say it a lot.
They find every reason to use the word home.
Right, like was it who says that? Like Mulder says that he could live in a town like this, and like the sheriff is like, oh, his name is Andy Taylor, isn't it? He's
Yes.
like, really?
And then the deputy is Barney, and
He's
he goes,
like, 5? He's like, no.
Shut up.
Yeah. No.
He's all mad.
Right. No, pastor.
And so they dig up this baby corpse, and she
They
finds
find
the
it like they're
defects, like
stepping on it, like the little Sandlot boys is like he's bringing up blood, and you see the little baby hand.
Which, like, why was it so
They
bloody
full
from them?
on show like deformed baby.
Oh
corpse.
yeah, full on. And it's got
This is why it
generations
only-
worth of defects.
She's like, it's got everything, every single kind of. But she's like, but the weird thing is that this is the result of many years.
This isn't just like
and
one.
what I want to know, because the sheriff straight up is like, he hinted. She even said, she's like, he hinted.
He knows
at,
what's up at the Peacock
nobody
House to
thought
an
that
extent.
immediately. Like, wouldn't he be able to keep a lid on this shit? They found a deformed baby right
and
outside.
He's the one who called the FBI.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't want to make this a big deal.
You found this baby outside the Peacock home. You know some shady shit be happening in that house.
Just
Why did
leave
you call
it alone.
the FBI?
If you
Just
don't
ignore
want
it.
Yeah, just ignore it. They're taking care of it.
'Cause
I
that
don't
makes
know,
sense,
like
because that poor man does meet his demise, and so
in a
does his
horrible
wife,
way.
in a horrible way.
In a horrible,
all
horrible
because
way.
he called the FBI.
There was no reason for it. I don't know why he. Oh, they're harmless. They
So if you thought they were harmless, why'd you call the FBI, sir?
because he really didn't think that was one of theirs.
And this is the one. So
Oh my
that the
God.
big reveal. So that you find out the sheriff tells him, oh, the parents we assume died in a car
They
wreck
took their bodies away.
because they took their bodies away. We've never seen them since, so we
Yeah.
presume they're dead. Oh no,
No.
Daddy died.
But Mama,
Mommy's on one of them mechanic trolleys
She's
under
on a
the fucking
creeper
bed.
under the
Yes,
bed.
the creeper.
that they regularly go and fuck their mama.
Only I think at the end they do say that it's mostly the one that was crying is
Yeah,
the dad of the other two, they think.
Oh God.
But like, so then who was even the dad? If he was, so he was the dad of Edmund, but then Edmund was the dad of his younger brothers.
I don't know how.
I don't know
any
how
of
much
this
the
works.
ages.
How inbred were they beforehand?
Well, you saw the family photos.
That's what I'm saying.
They were,
like this is generations upon
and like
generations.
never at any point did any of these inbred children get born into this family and go, "Wow, this is fucked up."
No,
I'm gonna
they're
go
too
find
inbred.
a normal person. Nope.
They're too inbred. They don't know any better.
But that scene of pulling that fucking
Oh my
creeper
fucking
out
God,
with the
with
mom,
her
and she
two-
turns
She looks like Rob Schneider
with like 3 teeth and the nose all pressed to the side.
She's like Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo with two noses.
And she likes
That's-
it. Is the
oh
big
God,
reveal.
My sons love me.
and like
We have
I
to
got.
find a new home. He's
So
like,
yeah,
she's
they
in
end
the-
up killing
were they-
the 2 boys, and not the oldest. And
well,
he
no,
takes
they
her
get
in the
because
trunk.
they get caught up in the booby trapped house.
That's what it is. Because the,
Huh.
the booby trapped house
The
and the
booby
axe
trap-
gets that deputy
Yes!
in the face. Poor
Whack!
Deputy Barney.
yes.
Oh,
Did not deserve it. Neither did the sheriff. Nobody. This could have all been avoided if you just would have left well enough
don't
alone.
call the cops.
Right?
ACAB.
Just ACAB. I mean, like
FBI
this whole
counts in the
family is
ACAB.
dead. Like, who were they really bothering out there burying their?
She liked it. It was consensual.
Mikey!
She likes
You know
it.
who didn't like it and where it wasn't consensual?
The
was-
baby?
No, well, no. Also that. But I'm talking about the modern age Prometheus episode, the black and white episode.
That's my next one.
Is that your next one?
Let's get into it.
Okay, here
So-
we go.
If you guys recall, there was a black and white episode, season 5, episode 5, the postmodern Prometheus. That's we watched it. So I watched it by myself. I had this one I remembered, and she wasn't quite sure if she remembered it. So we watched it together. This is share heavy. So this is all black and white. It starts out with this kid who has written this comic book called The Great Mutato, and his
That's
mom.
a great mutato.
His mom gets like gassed and like we don't know if she got raped in the first part. It's just that she sees the guy, the face,
Right,
and then
that
the next
there's-
thing you know, she's calling the FBI
Right.
because
they go
she
on
saw
Jerry Springer.
They didn't go on it, but
Oh.
the Wolf Boy was on Jerry Springer,
Right.
and they mentioned that they had contacted Fox Mulder at the FBI
Yeah.
on the Jerry Springer show.
Yeah.
So the mom calls and is like, so 17 years ago this happened to me and I woke up pregnant and now this happened again and it's the same scenario.
Right.
And they find this comic book, The Great Mutato, and they're like, what, ma'am? This matches the fucking comic book right here. Like, for
And
real?
she's like, oh, yeah, my son writes
And then her
in it.
pig-nosed son, this poor kid. But he's not mutated.
No.
Like those babies at the end.
No.
But so basically, it's the mask, or not the mask. It's Mask. It's not the mask. It's not Jim Carrey's
Smoking.
The Mask. It's not smoking.
No, the mask.
There
was
is
Cher.
dancing.
There is.
But yes, Mask with Cher and Eric Stoltz mixed with the Elephant Man.
Yes, very much, because he gives that speech at the end. Because you think that there's like he's just a wild mutant or whatever, because isn't he like experiments or something?
So yeah, it turns out that his dad, quote unquote, is the father of a mad scientist.
Right.
And that he's some sort of failed experiment that the dad took out of the trash and raised as a child because
Reasons.
right? Oh, because his older son was an evil scientist who had no interest in like dad stuff.
Dad stuff. Okay.
So he raised, and they find the family album of like photos of this kid growing up, the two-faced boy,
Yeah, that's right.
riding
He's got
horses and doing all this different stuff. But because no woman would ever love him, and his dad wasn't a scientist, and he couldn't make him a mate, he would gas women. He would put up a extermination,
tent,
a termite tent, and gas these women. Well, just the
Listen
one,
to
I
Cher.
guess, and then the second one was the doctor's wife. Like I remember it being like he did this to every woman in town, but it
Yeah,
was
but
just
I guess
the
it was
one
just the two.
who wrote the comic book.
Right.
And then when he hears that the mad scientist wife can't get pregnant, he does her the favor
Yeah.
of gassing her.
He makes it out like it's a favor.
Yeah,
That's
like you
the
got a
thing.
child to love,
He
and I got
gives
to
a
feel.
soliloquy.
And in the 90s, we apparently accepted this as okay because not only is he not get arrested, they take him to see Cher live.
Yeah. He's like, it can't end like that.
Yeah.
He tells he needs to talk to the writer.
And then the kid comes up.
Right. And he writes about how instead of him going to jail like he fucking should,
Yeah.
they take him to a Cher concert, which
Yep.
isn't really Cher.
No, it's and then I said her hair's so crispy. That's clearly not Cher. And you were like, well,
Actually,
it's Cher in the early 90s.
could be.
It still could be.
It could
but
be.
no, it was not.
it could be Turn Back Time Cher.
And this is one of the so for
Turn
people
Back
who
Time
are
Cher.
people who are into the whole shipping of Mulder and Scully, this is one of their moments because they dance at the end. He asks her to dance and they
They kind of have
have a moment. And then the next moment, which is not an episode, it's just a quick note, is season 6, episode 3, Triangle,
Right.
where he thinks and we don't know, maybe he was, it's the
Maybe.
X-Files, but Mulder believes he's on a ship in the Bermuda Triangle in 1939.
Yeah.
And there's a woman on the ship who looks like Scully.
Yeah.
And he gives her a very passionate kiss and she punches him.
Yeah.
So that's the first
that's not-
kiss.
that
but it's
doesn't
not
count.
Scully.
Those are the actors kissing each other.
Yeah.
But that's
not
not the
those
characters
characters.
kissing each other. That doesn't happen until way later. Those two episodes that you just mentioned made me think of the one with the shapeshifter that got all those women pregnant at the fertility clinic and they were born with tails. Do you remember that one?
Vaguely, yes.
And he was like turning into people and he was turning into the women's husbands except
Was
for
this the one where he turned into Mulder?
Yeah, he
And he
turned
went
into-
to the office and he was like looking at himself in the mirror and stuff.
Right,
Like,
and he like almost shot his face off.
yes,
like, yeah,
yes, I do
that
remember
one.
this.
And then also the other one on the ship where they got really old, where it was like it was like extra salty, and it made them age.
No,
and
I
they
don't
were stuck
remember
on
that
the
one.
ship. Yeah, they went to like a big old. They had to go figure out what had happened on this oil tanker ship or something like out in the middle of the fucking ocean. And once they get there, like everyone's dead and like crystallized. They had crystallized. But then they
Okay,
start
that sounds
like
vaguely
aging
familiar.
really rapidly and like they're saved right at the end. Like Mulder loses consciousness. Like they're about to die and they get saved. It's crazy. And only because like Scully keeps a journal like about her observations because she's a medical doctor.
And was it between seasons 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 that the first movie comes out?
5 and 6, I
And
think.
so after Postmodern Prometheus, so between the season finale, I think, of season 5, the movie was good.
Yeah.
That first movie was
I remember
good.
liking the first movie.
And that is where you get your almost first passionate romantic kiss, and then she gets stung by a bee.
Yeah, because
And it
there's
doesn't happen.
also like the bee things come up in a couple different episodes because that has something to do with like the tissue samples and the smallpox vaccine and the purity vaccine and the black oil and the
And we
green
skipped over
fizz
her
and whatever.
cancer, right? That was season 4.
That was in season 4, I think. Though,
So
where
she takes
got-
the chip out. She
yeah.
got abducted by the government, but thought it
She-
was aliens.
The episode before that, though, is the one with the EMT guy that's like made of
that can
cancer
eat-
and then
that
eats
eats
the
cancer.
cancer and like smells it and whatever. And that's how she figures it out, is because he tells her that she has something that he needs.
And it turns out later that she got the cancer because she removed the implant the government put in her neck, and if she lets them put it back in, her cancer goes away, and
she
it does.
meets all those other ladies. But then because I had forgotten about that until I forget where they were, and like they were going through a metal detector, and like it went off, and I was like, "Oh fuck, the chip
Yep.
in her neck!"
That's when she found it,
Oh
was the
my
metal
god, yeah.
detector,
She was
yep.
like, "Put that over." Whatever.
Because they got they weren't fired, but they got like
no, they were reassigned.
yeah,
like,
and
they
she couldn't
split
get
up
in
at
the back
end
door
of-
anymore. She had to go into the regular security
right?
thing.
Because that was where like he was down in the basement or whatever. Because like that was at the end of season 1. I feel like they got reassigned. They busted up the X-Files, and then the whole second season was about trying to get them back on the X-Files.
Right, and I think that happened at least once more in the run of the show that the
That
X-Files.
makes sense.
Well, there was one where Spender got assigned to the X-Files.
That's right.
And they were supposed to be doing background checks. The
Sp-
one
yes, the one where we were
Oh
watching.
yeah, so we don't remember this one, but now we watched this one today because it
Right.
came up on another thing. You guys remember Bruce Campbell was in an episode of the
Oh
X-Files?
yes. So this was
Because
on
that
a
was the
list.
one
Uh-huh.
which they were supposed to be doing background
They were
checks.
doing background checks,
And this
and
was
he had
season
heard the
6, episode
Season
7?
6, episode 7.
Okay, so this is later than what we're talking about. So after that, there's the
Right.
thing.
There's
And they
the-
get reassigned.
Where they get reassigned. But yeah, they're doing background checks. They're supposed to be doing a bunch of background checks. And I forget how he gets.
Spender shreds. The guy comes to Spender.
That's right.
And says,
because his sister,
my sister, yeah.
she woke up and the baby was gone. Like she's pregnant and she's been trying to have
And he
this
puts
baby
it in the
and-
round file, and apparently Mulder is siphoning through the trash of the
Right.
X-Files.
to find something to do. So he's going through Spender's shred box. Like he put it in the shred. Like, is he taping all that shit back together?
Yeah, he
Mulder?
did. It was all like or it was in one of those plastic
maybe.
the sheeting things, maybe.
Hilarious. He's all got the little laminate thing fed into Spender's shred trash.
And then
Just like does it.
I'm trying to check if that's what you said was season 6, episode 7.
I think it was.
My
It was
last
called
one.
Terms of endearment.
My last one that I have on my list is season 6, episode 6.
Oh.
And so that's funny that I watched season 6, episode 6, but didn't watch season 6, episode 7.
Oh, how funny.
So that was how the ghost stole Christmas.
Oh,
with
yeah,
Lily
the one
Tomlin
before
and
that. So
Ed
there was several wild ones.
because that one was super wild too. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
the one where it's Christmas Eve. Mulder talks Scully into meeting him at some haunted house. Tells her this whole curse of this couple who killed themselves in this house, and they come back every Christmas Eve. And she's like, "Bitch, I got shit to do. Like, you don't got nowhere to be." And then she can't find her. He goes in and she can't find her car keys. And then they each meet the ghosts, and like they see themselves buried under the floorboards, and they end up shooting each other. Or they
There was a
think that they
couple
did.
of times that she shot him.
They're like, "Oh yeah, she for real actually shot
Yeah,
him." But in
yeah,
this
yeah.
one, they thought the ghost made them think they shot each other, and they're like crawling, bleeding to the door when they finally realize. Because oh no, she goes, "You shot me," and he's like,
Yeah.
"I didn't shoot you. You shot me." And she's like,
What?
and they both kind of go, "Oh, we're not shot. Like
Nobody's
this is we
shot.
got haunted."
Yeah.
But that was a
boom.
crazy one.
Yeah.
And just because I loved Lily Tomlin, that one really stuck out in my mind.
Because I don't remember that one or the one that follows, because I would have remembered this.
Yeah, I would remember to Bruce Campbell being a demon
I would've-
ripping women's babies out of their wombs, his own
and like
wife's
turning
babies.
into a glowing red-eyed with
Yeah.
like the fires of hell behind him. And
I
this
don't
was
remember that
another
at
one.
all.
She just takes off with a demon baby.
Yeah, there's a confirmed little demon baby at the end of that episode, and then it just
That's the one that has to fight Scully's Christ child.
maybe that's it. Hey, you guys remember that they have a baby together?
Yeah. Well, which we decided that's their baby together somehow, some way.
It's not, but it is.
he's
He's the father.
The other explanation that you provided me, I do not accept, and I wish I'd never heard it.
And before we talk about that, real quick, season 7, episode 4, big buildup of if you Google when was the first time Mulder and Scully kiss, you will find the episode Millennium, which is a crossover with the show Millennium, starring Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
And it is another really big plot, like end of the world, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, people resurrected from the dead, confirmed, and yet all you get out of it is at the end, it's New Year's Eve and the ball drops and Mulder kisses Scully.
Right.
Which doesn't count.
But what does count
Oh my gosh.
is the following season.
Season 8 is where
It's
it
a
all
two-parter
happens.
where it all goes down. It's a two-parter. You got to watch both.
We're not even going to talk about which episode is what, but real quickly, Mulder gets legit abducted by aliens.
Oh, and Skinner comes in to tell Scully, talk about, I lost him. I lost
Lost
my
him
boy.
in it. Yes. And that's what we're like. He's like really daddy. Like he is their father.
Like everybody is in this episode. We got Krychek. We got Billy Miles is in this one too, isn't he?
This is like through season 8. I think Billy Miles is in more than one, right?
Well, yeah, he's in several.
So Billy
but
Miles
he's in
comes
this
back.
one
So
too.
he's season 1, episode 1. Billy Miles. He was one of the first
and is this
abductees.
This season is also the appearance of Doggett.
This is so Scully gets pregnant. Mulder gets abducted. He doesn't know she's pregnant. Doggett gets hired to come in and take over.
Those doctors have those fetus rooms.
Yes, there's a bunch
That's like
of
a design theme. Like this is,
Yes.
and like the guy's taking it home. He's like, you know what? Now that we've talked about it, the
Maybe
fetus
I should
wall
pack
might
these up.
This backlit.
It's a little obvious.
Fetus wall. It's like the shoot. But like there's so much in this whole thing. Like everybody comes back. Skinner shoots fucking Krychek in the face.
between the eyes.
Oh, like casual. Like he was just working late.
Yeah.
He was
just happened to be
He
there.
was recovering from the karate
Yep.
chop.
Oh yeah, because you guys know that when
Billy
you're
Miles.
an alien replicant, you could just use your bare hand and behead people with
Karate
it.
chop.
You can karate chop heads off.
Billy Miles. Chop. He
You
almost
send
took
your head
Skinner.
flying for miles.
And this is also the one that Doggett runs in the parking garage.
He does the T-1000 run.
Like literally in a parking garage, and he gets up on the car, and then that other agent is like, whoop, gets up on the car. It was wild.
And this is where we started to get extra confused about the whole is Mulder the daddy thing because so Mulder is found dead.
Right.
He's abducted by aliens. You get to see him being tortured. Like he's got his faces all stretched out, and he's
in like a
drills in the
torture
roof of his
And
mouth.
like, can they like sense each other? He's up there screaming, Scully. She's down
like
there,
right
like,
there.
She's there. They're like tracking the spaceship that has him because people are coming back. That's the thing. People are getting dropped off. So if they can track where the spaceship goes to drop these people off, Skinner goes to the lone gunman to try to find out where it's going so they can try to get Mulder back.
God, can you imagine what an exciting time it is for the lone gunman when
my
the
God.
AD of the fucking FBI
Seriously, because their
is
other
like, I need your help.
Their other FBI buddy got legitimately abducted, and Skinner was fucking there. That's why he was like, I saw him.
Yeah, he saw the
I
ship.
saw the ship. Like, I cannot deny.
Yeah.
I cannot
Skinner was
deny.
on board after that.
Because he always had that, like, is he, like, with them? Is he kind of not with
Well,
them
that's
or
because
whatever?
goddamn Cancer Man was always sitting
I
in the
know,
goddamn
the
next
fucking
room.
Cancer Man.
Oh, which, you guys, did you know the Cancer Man had Mulder's sister Samantha for like
Yeah.
6 years after she got abducted?
Apparently, that's
and
where she
raised
lived.
her with his son Spender, who later is an FBI agent who has no recollection of who his father is.
We're going to have to get to the Cancer Man, I think, separately because we have not yet gotten to the end of this episodes.
Oh, the Messiah baby?
The Messiah baby, the Christ child
You guys
is born.
remember
They
that the
take
Christ
her
child was
away.
born?
Agent Reyes shows up like a donkey to take her pregnant
To lead
ass
her to the-
away.
To the, what is it, a
It's
barn?
Like, it's like
whatever?
a fucking. It's like Spawn Ranch. It's like a ghost town. They like go there. They go all the way out there. Like nobody can know where they are. Like all the men folk are back down there fighting the alien hybrid super soldiers and Billy Miles and shit. And there's green goo and fucking everything.
Everything.
And so she's there. She decide like they're like we need to boil some water right now. Like she knew she was gonna go into labor right then and there.
Yeah, she willed herself into labor because she was not in labor.
She was not.
And like, you've had a baby, I've had a baby. Did they use boiling water at any point in your delivery?
No, but I also did not give birth in a ghost town. So, I mean.
I just, like, I'm always in every movie, they're always like, we need boiling
we need to
water.
boil
And I'm
some
like,
water
what
and
is
give
the
me some towels.
Like, in that gross old rusty water, like ghost town, sure, you got to boil any water before you do anything with it. But like in normal movies where they're in a house and someone's going to deliver and they're like, we need boiling water. I'm like, what do you need it for? The water in the tap is clean.
Because I'm going to pour it on the father's balls so this doesn't happen again. But yeah, no, like there's a whole thing. There's like a light in the sky and Mulder follows it to save her. And like Billy Miles shows up, but just to watch.
Yeah,
and, like,
all these aliens show up. But they leave her alone.
The child will be born.
And then
so anyway, everyone's okay.
And the lone gunmen are the three wise men at the bedside. And this
Mulder comes in.
And now Mulder does not know if he's the daddy. Like it has been made clear in this series arc
that he's not
that he's
sure,
just
like,
as
what's
confused as anyone else.
Because the lone gunmen say something about like, oh, we were so glad that you came back because we're glad that you came back. And also because we have our suspicions as far as like
what your place in this miracle. And his face, it like dawns on him for the first time. This might be his kid.
I feel like Skinner even says something to him. He's
yeah,
like,
Skinner says,
level
I
with
thought,
me, bud.
Well, he says, I thought I knew until you said you had questions.
Right. He was like, I was pretty sure I knew like who the father was, meaning you. Until...
Well, because so she is barren because of her abduction. But in an earlier season, they find her ova in a file cabinet,
as
whatever.
You do.
And they take them to a doctor and they're viable. And she's actively trying to do IVF with these found ova to have a baby. And she asks Mulder for his sperm. And he's like, hell yeah, I know how to do that.
I can do that.
I can do that, baby.
Chantal's going to give me a call. But 900.
But then she comes back later and is like, says it didn't take.
Right.
But then there's also something that says that the CSM used that chip.
I hate
and
this.
activated an alien hybrid pregnancy. So not that he necessarily raped her, but yes, getting someone pregnant without their... Yes, he medically raped her, basically.
Oh, it's so fucking gross.
And so Mulder is, for all intents and purposes, the father in her heart. But is he biologically the father? I don't think we'll ever know.
It's the Christ child.
Right.
But so anyway, he walks in, he sees her. She's there dressed as the Virgin Mary in her silk jammies, holding the child. And they come together. And this.
She says something about the truth we've both always known.
Right.
And then they have their fucking
kiss.
And this is what? Season 8, episode 21.
This is the season finale of season 8. It's a 2-part, the last 2.
You guys, can you imagine a time in which you would watch 8 22-episode seasons of a show before somebody really had a romantic moment and you were still here for it?
And I wasn't even like, I was in and out at this point.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't watching every week at this point. That it was happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember being aware they had a baby and stuff.
Up.
Yeah.
They built this shit up finally, Mulder and Scully.
And then in the later movie, which was just like a long episode, that one I was telling you with Billy Connolly as a pedophile priest, that one was really weird. But they make it super cash that they live together. So it's like she's now a doctor at a children's hospital doing like experimental stem cell research. And the FBI comes looking for him because whatever, they have an X-file.
Right.
And she's like, I don't know where he is. And then she just goes home and he's there.
Yeah.
But like they don't
show
just
them
partners. Romantically involved.
They're just partners. They're just the other half of each other. They're life partners.
Yeah. So I mean, there is no solid confirmation in any episode of the X-Files that they fucked.
I just figured
you can
they
have your
were.
own. It's like how we said Christmas movies. It's whatever you feel like is a
whatever
Christmas
that
movie.
You've decided.
Whenever it makes you happy to decide they've banged at that point.
Well, because there was a moment there where Scully kind of went wild when she went out and got that tattoo, and she was like running around with the dude with the tattoo that was like poison, and it made him hear the voice of the tattoo. Did you ever see that one?
Oh,
and like she was going through it. And like she kind of like took off for a little while and she was getting a little wild and she like went out and got a tattoo from the same. Like she met the guy in a
Was this
bar.
after her sister died?
I think so. And
Yeah.
like she got a Ouroboros or whatever, like on her back. They never mention it again.
She didn't get a Queequeg tattoo.
No, she didn't get a quick. Yeah, that was the other thing.
Didn't she steal someone's dog or something? You said
It was the dog of one of like the victims of
she
some.
just took off with
and
it.
she took off with the dog. She had it for most of season 3. This poor dog. At the end of season 3, she had to take Queequeg, the Pomeranian that looked like Bit, to a thing where there was like a Loch Ness monster, Big Blue.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, "There's no fucking way. Like, half of bodies are turning up.
There's no way my dog's not safe.
There's no way that there's not something out there biting men in half. But whatever. So like she had the dog on a leash, but she was taking it out at night, and like the dog got away from her on her little rolly leash. Queequeg, and it ended up being like a gigantic gator. Like a big ass gator. But yeah, like the poor dog got eaten. It ate Queequeg.
What a shame.
Because that was the thing, didn't her dad? Because her dad called her Starbuck. She called her dad Ahab. And both of them are named William, and the son was named William.
So yeah, she tells him in the episode where she has the baby, she tells Mulder, "I named him William after your father,"
But
and
her
her
father's
name is William. So I don't know if that's some joke between them.
And he like died way before Mulder's dad died.
Yeah,
and they were
Mulder's
close.
dad is not his dad because guess what?
Cigarette smoking man
is his dad.
Yeah,
Hope we
you
didn't
guys
blow your minds, but the cigarette man.
Didn't I blow
is
your mind
Mulder's
that
dad.
time? Didn't I? When I told you that it's a cigarette smoking man. Yeah.
Oh, and the reason that Samantha got kidnapped is because part of the syndicate's deal with the aliens was that each of them had to give a family member up to experimentation, and cigarette smoking man gave his wife.
Yes, because of course he did.
And Mulder's dad actually chose Mulder first, but they said they needed a girl. And so he gave them reluctantly Samantha, who was probably his only biological
kid. Yeah, because Mulder wasn't his.
Yeah.
I wonder if he ever knew. They always did really good casting when they casted like young Mulder. Like any and all of the kids that they got. I don't know if it was ever the same one more than once.
And his mom looked so much like she could really be his mom.
Yes, that too.
But I would say what this show doomed me was to want to be Scully.
Yeah.
Which it doomed a whole generation of girls to be.
Well, again, I know we've mentioned it before, but they always had Scully all dressed up in her Clarice Starling drag, which also...
In her sensible pumps.
Yes, they put her in these pumps all the time. She would be wearing
running
blazers.
through forests and shit.
She would be wearing blazers in her home.
Yeah. When she was pregnant.
Scully. Oh, and when she was pregnant, having this
she
woman
got all
just come
the
into
Scully
her
out
house.
of her when she was pregnant.
She got the Scully fucked up.
She did.
Like, cause she became like the
whatever. Remember the one where all the men dragged her through the hallways?
Yes, like she kept.
Pregnant women can't run by themselves, you guys. A man has to pull them by their hand and lead them.
They had to be. She had to be dragged all over in every hall, down through the parking garage, down through alleys, just
And I gotta say, I gotta give it up to Doggett because in my head, back in the day when Doggett came in the picture, the show was over.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember really watching a ton of the episodes after that because I thought that Doggett and Reyes just replaced Mulder and Scully.
I felt like they did, and I was so wrong. Well, because
they're not. They interspirit like they,
and they're
Scully
not
goes
terrible.
Away. No, they're not. And Doggett, like he brings a whole different energy to the X-Files of this. Mulder. I had no idea. Well, probably because I didn't watch it so much once he was on there. But he was pretty badass, and he was a stand-up dude. Like he was always on the right side of where he needed to be.
At least the ones that I watched,
trying to be anyway. Like he was always trying to do the right thing.
But then, like sometimes he would back the wrong horse, like that no roar, the roar, who was like a fully an alien. That was the one where they were running through the that the guy Krychek was talking so fucking long that they took the elevator down and it took long enough
between the eyes.
Yes, he did. He was like shooting the gun, like, no, pick it up. Oh, pot, pot.
Right between the eyes.
Right. He's like, I took a karate chop
and then
to
he's
the
like,
dome.
I'll clean this up. And then he just
and
walked
he just
away.
didn't. He was like, someone also cleaned this up.
And that's why
fucking
Skinner
Krychek
is
and
daddy.
Marita Covarrubias.
I forget about her always too.
Maddie, that she doesn't have an
doesn't
accent.
look like a Marita Covarrubias whatsoever.
No, and she was in it with Krychek too. There was like that whole, I don't know, it was crazy because I got more into like that whole storyline. Yeah, watching it later on.
You guys, if you haven't gone back and watched the X-Files, I'm telling you, whether you were into the aliens and not the monsters or into the monsters and not the aliens, you're going to find a whole new level.
There is so much more.
It's crazy.
And Skinner.
If you got an affinity for strong middle-aged men, you're going to find yourself a new crush. But yeah, so this show, I mean, there was movies too,
but yeah.
But this show, like, I literally at a certain point when I was younger went to my work and was like, what do I have to do for you guys to pay for me to go to school to be school to be Scully?
I want to go to Scully.
Literally said, since the X-Files came out, there is no shortage of requests for this, and that unless you have your PhD,
unless you are a medical doctor,
are you right? Or
because you could just bust into anywhere talking about I'm a medical doctor.
Oh, and there's so much in this show, you guys. That's the other level that you forget is how many fucking laws they break.
Oh yeah, I'm an FBI
break
agent.
Into people's houses. They be asking them like
in that Paper Hearts episode where they find the serial killer that ends up, he said that he killed Samantha instead of her being, and like they go to find the car. Remember I was telling you, like some random guy buys the car that used to belong to a serial killer, and he's looking for the hearts cut out of the nightgowns.
Yeah.
And they're looking in the car and the guy's telling him like, oh yeah, I just redid it. And he starts cutting up the upholstery. And he's like, oh, I guess it wasn't there. I don't know.
Because the thing that you realize about Mulder now is that he has no intention of arresting anybody or filing any paperwork.
He wants to get to the truth because the truth is out there.
He's levied himself into this position where he knows enough that he has enough on people to keep it open to a certain extent.
Was it ever anything other than, I remember it was at least 2 other things when it would come up, the truth is out there. That one time it was everything dies, and one time it was trust no one, which the cigarette smoking man has on his lighter.
It was trust no one more than once. It was started being trust no one at a certain point when Deep Throat told him that. I think. And then they kept it, I think, died. Through the end.
Because then there was the one that...
when Mulder disappears, he starts falling into the eye
right,
in the intro
he falls into,
or whatever.
No! Yeah. But then it still says the truth is out there.
Yeah.
Truth's still out there, though.
Still out there, you guys.
But the one with the cigarette smoking man, the musings of the cigarette smoking man, where I told you I like felt really bad for him because all he wanted to do was right. But did you guys know that he not only killed JFK... but also MLK, he had a thing against people initial moniker.
Yeah, he didn't like it if your last name started with a K.
He was. That's how he became, because he didn't smoke until then, and I think that's where he met the rest of the syndicate.
Yeah,
I think all of those people when they were young is when he got into that whole thing, and that started with the assassination of JFK, which was also, according to William Mulder, Mulder's first word.
Oh yeah, JFK.
In that same episode, you see it, but yeah, he has to do all this shit, and he writes these Tom Clancy novels, and that's really all he wants to do. And he just can't. He's too deep, man.
Yeah.
He's in too fucking deep.
Oh my gosh. There's still so much. Like, they give the baby up for adoption to protect it, and then they think maybe it doesn't have any powers. But I guess in the new seasons, there's an 18-year-old William or something who does have power. We didn't watch that. We were only talking about the ones from back.
No, the original ones that made an impact.
But yeah, we will definitely be continuing to watch the X-Files.
Well, now I'm in too deep. I'm like the cancer man.
Our paying patrons, if you guys have any interest in us watching and talking about the newer season,
maybe we will.
Let us know. Maybe we'll get into that.
Maybe we can.
And we have a couple of yearbook signings.
Ooh, for the new year.
We have one from new patron Ken. Yearbook message. Listening to the gals is like hanging out with hilarious friends, remembering pop culture and movie nostalgia. I'm about 20 episodes away from completing my first listen through and can't wait to start making my wife listen to it on long car rides of my favorite episodes. Well worth the time to listen and giving support on Patreon. Love the show. Regularly got me wheeze laughing like Muttley from Wacky Racers. And then we have one more. We got our first text message at 702-720-DOOM.
Doom.
Good evening, ladies. Just wanted to let you know that even if I've already listened to a particular episode, it's still just as fun the second or even third time around.
Dang.
You clever girls managed to fit tons of funny info into each exchange. So far, my favorite episodes are Donnie Darko because you both sound even more relaxed than usual, and Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula because your romantic reactions to Gary Oldman make me blush. Thanks for everything you do and keep on trucking. And there was no signature, so I replied and said, should we say who it's from? And he said, you won't believe this. It's Leslie Nielsen's Ghost.
You guys!
Leslie
Nielsen's Ghost. But yet he didn't listen to the Naked Gun episode?
He did.
I think,
okay. Particular
well,
person,
you'd
but
have
he didn't
to
comment on it. But yes, so if you want us to read your yearbook
we'll
signing,
do it.
Make an Apple review, send us an email titled yearbook signing to doomgenerationpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. There's a link in our Instagram bio.
Send us an X-File.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got your own X-File?
You got an X-File? Send us an X-File.
We will be back next week with your usually scheduled programming of a film.
Yes, we have a film.
A film coming
High
out. Yeah, we're not
art.
making the TV thing is going to be new for the new year. We're going to do one every so often.
Yes.
But this is not going to be a regular thing because, like we said, it took us 2 weeks.
2 weeks
of watching episodes of the X-Files versus
I have
2
not done
hours of watching a
but
movie.
fucking watching
Same.
X-Files all day, every single goddamn day.
Yeah, so this will be maybe once every couple months.
Once
we'll
a
try
quarter.
to do a film. There you go. Once a quarter. And on that note,
we'll talk at you next time. Later, Doomers.